Hello, welcome to Authentic Expressions. My name is Mige Kalim. Welcome to this live stream on the fear of disappointing others. So be sure to post your questions. Look forward to having you post your questions soon. Again, this video is sponsored by Laurel Ridge, and I'm going to read to you some of the services offered by Laurel Ridge. So, Laurel Ridge is a behavioral health program and it offers compassionate care for every stage of life. It provides personalized treatment for all populations. Their interest is to help you into your journey of wellness. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty service members, veterans, and first responders. So they do offer inpatient, outpatient, substance abuse treatment, residential treatment. Do call 210-491-3591 for no cost assessment. So Laurel Ridge is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their mission is to save lives, heal families, and create hope. All right, I see some familiar faces. Welcome. Welcome, Brittany. Good to see you again. Welcome, Zach. All right, look forward to having your questions. So today's topic is the fear of disappointing others. What are some fears that you have about disappointing others? On the flip side is, what is the courage you want to embrace? So while waiting for your questions, I am going to read you a quote. Welcome, Brittany Berry, Brittany Jones. My question is, why do I feel responsible for other people's emotions even when I have done nothing wrong? That is an excellent question, Brittany Jones. So you have done nothing wrong, but you take responsibility for others' emotions. So my question is always, how long have you been taking on this responsibility that does not belong to you? It's almost like you're running a race for somebody else that you did not sign up for. It's almost like buying groceries for people and they didn't ask for it. So you always go home empty-handed because you keep putting groceries in other people's cart rather than your own cart. So again, my questions are, who else did you see that you emulate this behavior? And what was the script that was said to you? What was the guilt that was laid upon you in your early years that says that you are responsible for other people, that you might be the oldest of 3 or 4 siblings, and that you're responsible? And so you carry that weight for everybody and you did not know how to unload it because you burden yourself with taking care of other people, you burden yourself with feeling responsible. So remember, to respect yourself, you need to think about setting healthy self scripts. That is about promoting your wellness. Don't focus on what you are not doing, focus on what you are doing well. All right, Cheryl is here, Betty. So Jeff has a question. Fear is that every time I talk to my significant other, it turns into an argument and a beat down on me. That's a great question, comment. Also, think about how you set yourself up. When a situation continuously goes in a certain vein, in a certain direction, and you do not want it to go in that direction, then you set it up so that you start the conversation and steer it towards a different direction. So if you fall into the trap of discussing a heated issue and 3 minutes into it, you're down that same dark alley. So you might not want to always start with a heated discussion. You might want to start with something that is not a discussion, but something that is a conversation. And sometimes you need to think about how you want to extract and pull yourself out and not always slide into that slippery slope. Because when we find ourselves down that same slippery slope, it's because we too are wearing the same tools that get us into the slippery slope. So you want to think about what you are doing that often gets you there in the same place that you don't want to go. So invite you to think about how to start conversations differently, how to have inviting conversations, and not always have rebuttals, you know, debating conversations. So change the tone of your conversation so that it's about helping you create some win-wins in small conversations. Welcome, EK. Good to see you. So, Zach has a question. I was taught that to be a good boy, I should always do what I'm told. How should someone with this belief break free of it? Yes, excellent question. So, you are a good boy in the early days. So, you can also think about the different hats you wear. We all wear different hats. You know, an approval seeking hat, a fear of disappointing other people hat. The other hats you want to wear is self nurturing hats, self embracing hats, self respecting mindset, on self honoring mindsets. So it's not just about meeting other people's needs. So learn to switch your thinking. Life is also about putting you, your priorities, your needs, your mission, your vision, your purpose ahead of others. So, forever ago, we were taught that being considerate of yourself was very selfish. But it is important to think of it as self love, self nurturing. So, we don't always have to believe the script that we are taught and fed. As adults, we have the ability to switch and redirect, switch and take a different direction, switch and introduce new energy. So don't be a passive participant in your life. Be an active participant so that you can show up first for yourself. All right, Brittany Jones, what are some coping strategies for managing the anxiety or guilt that comes up after I say no or disappoint someone? So, eaten up with guilt and anxiety. So it goes back to even before you say no. So you trained yourself to use guilt to do decisions. So I invite you to don't just hang out in the problem area. So you want to introduce what other feelings into your life. You want to introduce feelings of bravery. You want to introduce feelings of it's a behavior, consideration of you, not just about caving. Your life is not always about giving. Giving is also to yourself, not just to other people. So you want to give yourself the gift of truth. In giving truth, you are embracing your values, your transparency. So learn to celebrate those and don't fall into the traps that were set for you early in life that you're supposed to, you have to, you must. When we do all of um, these reprimands or these thoughts that says that we have to, we must, it is very self-sabotaging. So take out the self-sabotaging behavior. Think about how you can enrich yourself. So it is your job is to make you a bigger version of you in your life, not a smaller version of you. And just imitate what was told to you by your parents, by your caregiver, by your partner, by your children, because children love to use guilt on parents because then that's what they get what they want. So think about changing the direction in which the conversation goes so that you don't always fall into the guilt trap. All right, Brittany Berry, your son, Carlos, 13, has said, I have a fear of disappointing others because when you fail people, people can use that against you. How do I not let it affect me? Great question for a 13-year-old. So you fear disappointing others because they can use it against you. So it's easy to get seduced into the trap of, not let other people criticize you, but think in terms of the bigger picture. People will criticize you when you're doing well, they will criticize you when you're doing mediocre, and they will also criticize you, worst of all, when you fail and falter. So it's going to be out there. And there are people who are hung up on spending vast amounts of time criticizing other people. So it is important to decide who you want to hear. Not all opinion is considered equal. And people criticize is because they feel bad about themselves, not because you are not good at sports, you are not good in an academic field. So people use that to sabotage you. It doesn't mean that they are right, that they have the truth, but it's important to trust yourself and to farm out more um, trust in yourself, to farm out more, to believe more of trust in yourself, to value your opinion, and not just to readily give up your opinion, your viewpoints, your mission, your vision. So you are deserving of having the opportunity to try, the opportunity to learn from your mistakes. Not You do not have to live life perfectly. So you want to live life as a human. All right, welcome Serena, welcome Crystal, welcome Victoria. Good evening. So Felicia, welcome. Great. A lot of familiar faces and names. Welcome Alice. Nice. So be sure to post your questions. I would love to answer your questions about the fear of disappointing others. What are some of your fears and what are some of your growth points? Instead of disappointing others, you want to what? So don't put others into your vocabulary as much. Think about what you want to put in your vocabulary. All right, Brittany Jones, I like it. You have another question. How can I tell the difference between being considerate and being a people pleaser who is sacrificing too much? Wow, that's an awesome, challenging question. So, considerate is you are a priority. You are considerate as a person, you are well mannered, you are kind, you are compassionate. And then a people pleaser is you deplete, you sacrifice yourself, you you play the victim role. You give up your rights as a friend, as a partner, as a parent. So there's a difference. So in consideration, it has an empowering feel to it. It has a bridging, a connecting feel to it. But when you do self-sacrificing, people-pleasing behavior, it is always about shrinking you, depleting you. So you have to think about what you are consistently doing so that you don't deplete yourself. Anytime you deplete yourself, you are taking energy out of you. You are sacrificing, you are, you know, putting a minus in your life. So you have devalued yourself. So in consideration, you have a superb trait, and it's about building you up. It's also about building the community up. It's not about sacrificing for you to build other people up. When you sacrifice yourself to build others up, that is not a true healthy behavior. So all behaviors, all actions should be a win-win, not a win-lose. Welcome, Carolyn. So Carolyn says, many people are not in touch with what they want, and I don't know. This feeling will helps me a lot. Yes, great. Yes, people are not in touch because they were trained to depart from their true mission, their true vision. So when you are an adult, when you're a child, or when you're raising a child, or in any kind of relationship, your job is to be in tune, to value your voice, not to take away your voice. Anytime you take away your voice, somebody else's voice, that is a depleting, exhausting, unhealthy, toxic experience. So think about adding richness to other people, but yet empowering them to take on challenges, to grow themselves, to reach their mark, so to speak. Okay, Dora, welcome. How do I handle disappointing people at work? So, depending on your line of work, disappointing people, were they already disappointed before they came into the work situation? So, do they also have the energy that they have failed themselves, they have failed other people? So then they come to work with a doom and gloom mindset. And you think that it's your job to uplift them. You can only do so much, but people have to change the way they look at things, the way they handle themselves. So it's not about you lifting other people up. So sometimes people come with the prescription that they're not going to be happy. So if you track that energy, then it's important for you to either point it out or change your friendships, find different friends that has the same similar mindset. Okay, EK, welcome. So EK's question is, how do you deal with disappointing your partner when they react to words or situations that remind them of a bad moment in your relationship? Wow, that's a great question. So how do you deal with disappointing your partner? So sounds like when things reoccur and they keep showing up, that means it's still burping within their headspace, their emotional space. So at that point, it's important to not correct it, but to listen to it. Like I said, it's important to listen to understand, listen to connect. Don't listen to defend, because we are not taught to listen to connect with people. Listen with a compassionate ear. So take out the right or wrong, take out you know, well, I tried this. Many times when people are hurting, they just want the space to be able to vent. So if you listen with compassion, listen with empathy, listen with understanding, listen with kindness, listen with consideration, then you will build more connection. But if you listen to protect your stance, to defend your stance, that is when the the competitiveness, the the dividing wall shows up. So for you to take down the dividing wall between you and your partner, think about different ways to listen. Don't get stuck into, well, I got blamed. So communication is not about being blamed, it's about having an open dialogue, having an open dialogue to understand people's perspective, not to defend your point. Anytime you want to defend your point is about something that came from your childhood, that you have to stand up for your rights, defend your point, fight to the bitter end. Well, you can do all that, when you have a divided communication. So think of communication as a opportunity to build connection, as an opportunity to enhance the relationship, not to divide it. Excellent question, EK. All right, what else? What other questions do you have relating to the fear of disappointing others? Would love to hear your questions. You're asking a lot of good questions. Okay, hi, it's me. All right. How do I help the leader husband of my home? How do I help the leader husband of my home? All right. How do I help the leader husband of my home? So is there a mission to help? So I would love to answer that question, but I'm wondering if you're looking to think about support your husband, the leader and the husband, that you want to offer support, that you don't want to offer criticism. You want to offer a lending hand. You want to offer multiple things. So I'm hearing that you want to build bridges, and it's not about competing. In parenting, it's more about building bridges. So Carolyn goes, I broke up with a group of friends that I found to be toxic after 5 years. I do not feel bad or beg my way back, and it felt really good. Sad thing is, I won't get that time back. Oh, yeah, the 5 years that you lost. Very good point. So it's so important that you protect your resources. Your resources are your time, your finances, your your day, your organization, your relationships. So spend time thinking about what you want to invest in. Don't use guilt to drive your decision making. So think about what you want to invest in. That is going to be that is going to enhance your well-being, your emotional well-being, that's going to enhance your wholesomeness. It is so easy to let early scripts of guilt, that you have to be there for other people. It's so easy to fall into those traps. But it's so important that you learn to emotionally invest in yourself, to honor yourself, to respect yourself, because these are traits that was never taught to us. These are all foreign languages. So try to include this in your vocabulary so that you will mindfully and intentionally practice these behaviors that are new. Okay, Brittany Jones, how do I start redefining success when I've been measuring it by how happy I make others feel? Wow, that's a great question. Okay, so how do I start redefining success? Again, success, if you think of it not as a ladder, you don't climb up the rope of the success ladder. Success is more about enriching, it's more about strengthening you. And if you take out competition, how would you view yourself as successful? We live in a very competitive world. We live in a world where comparison is front and center because we want to drive a car that these people drive, live in the neighborhood that fits the acceptable image, wear the clothes that are hip and that are fitting of what people like. So it's important to first nurture your purpose, your mission, your thoughts, your beliefs. And if you take out the word success, what would you put in? If you put in enrichment in your life, what does that look like, sound like? If you put in wholesomeness in your life, what does that look like, sound like? So if you play with these and look at how you want to enrich yourself by honoring yourself, that might have a different feel, and that might lead you to practices that's not about measuring up, that's not about meeting society's needs. It's more about meeting your needs. So Christina, welcome Christina. I tend to people please, kind of done whatever other people think of me, done with whatever other people think of me. Not that I'm trying to disappoint anyone, just kind of done with people disappointing me. Yes, I totally understand. So you want to be more conservative. You want to spend more time thinking about you. I like that attitude. So sometimes we have to hit bottom before we can, take care of ourselves before we can climb up the self-care ladder. So remember, your job is to invest in you, in your health, your wellness. It's not about giving away your health and wellness. Your mission is life is never about depleting you. It's more about enriching you. So learn to please you, put you more in the front and center, not about material things, but more about emotional growth, emotional wellness. So grow the healthy version of you, the wholesome version of you. Okay, Santos, welcome. I grew up in a very toxic family environment where family members always put me down since I was 4 years old. I realized they were projecting in me what they felt about themselves. Wow, that's an awesome insight. I like that. Thank you, Santos. Yes, I eventually thrive in life when I refocus my attention on myself. What an awesome change. Yes, your first and utmost responsibility is to take care of you, to honor you, to respect you, to enrich you, to build the wholesome version of you. It was never to, sacrifice you, victimize you, martyr you to help others flourish. I think you can help other people support their journey, but you do not pour your whole life and then deplete yourself because that is very self disrespecting. When you respect yourself, the way you interact with other people will change. Okay, Christine Rodriguez. Okay, got you. Appreciate it. I love these questions. These are awesome, awesome questions. So tell me, what other questions do you have? While I'm waiting for the questions, I'm going to share one quote with you. So Carl Jung says, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Yes, to accept oneself completely. Louise Hayes says, self approval and self acceptance in the now are the main keys to positive change in every area of our lives. Self approval and self acceptance is the key to change. All right, I'm guessing that fear is the motivator for over challenging one's self, your perspective. So that's a great question. And that person is, I'm guessing fear is the motivator for over challenging oneself, your perspective. Fear is the greater for challenging oneself. Fear is the motivator that keeps us in our box. When anytime you get yourself boxed in, you limit yourself, you oppress yourself, that is very unhealthy. Crystal, thank you. That's a great question. Yes, if you live life under the um, cloud of fear, that is when you are shrinking yourself. So it's very important to take fear out and put in what? Take fear out and put in bravery, courage, and see how that change. Courage shows up in the form of being transparent, being truthful, being genuine, having clarity. So include these words in your life, and that would help you function quite differently. So Felicia goes, how do I avoid shrinking or operating behind the scenes in fear of disappointing others? Yes. So many times we shrink is because it becomes our default. We have shrunk for so long that that is the default behavior. And that's not a healthy behavior, but that's the behavior we are familiar with. So to introduce new behavior, you want to introduce new energy. It may be uncomfortable at first, but given 5, 10 practices, 5 times, 10 times you practice it, then it becomes a new familiarity. So rather than shrinking myself, I would like to what to myself? I like to elevate myself. I like to honor myself. I like to trust myself. I like to encourage myself. I like to be compassionate to myself. So think about a variety of words that you want to build upon rather than shrink. Shrinking is easy because it's familiar, but think about how you want to enhance and enrich. So those are important things. Okay, our half an hour is up, and I really appreciate these awesome questions. So next week, the the live stream will focus on, do you feel responsible for everyone's emotions? Do you feel responsible for everyone's emotions? All right, Myrna Liz, it's hard to say no to others because that makes me feel seen. It's hard to change that behavior and make myself the important person that I need to take care of first. What a great closing, Myrna Litz. I appreciate that. Yes. Make yourself first, make yourself a priority, make decisions that are intentional, and make decisions that enriches you. So I look forward to seeing you next week. I would love to hear your questions. And again, I'm going to close with thanking Laurel Ridge for supporting this live stream. So Laurel Ridge provides personalized treatment for all populations, like children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty service members, and veterans. So be sure to call 210-491-3591 for no cost assessment. Thank you so much, everyone. I love your questions and would love to see you next week. Have a good week ahead.